Hi everyone, I'm Shelly from There's No Place Like Home at redheadmom8.wordpress.com. Today I decided that I'm going to answer a question that somebody posed to me on Instagram today about interest-led learning. And the reason that I decided to make a video about it right away is because I get this question a lot whenever I talk about interest-led learning or self-directed learning, delight-directed learning, whatever you call it. And that question is, are all interests created equal? Growing up in a world in which pretty much everyone follows the same basic school model, it can be hard to distinguish between what is worth learning about and what is not worth learning about when it comes to interest-led learning. Because what most of us have in mind when it comes to the things that are worthwhile are very often those things that you would either see being learned in a school or that would at least be able to be clearly covered by those basic subject areas that we all know about, like language arts, math, history, science. But what I really want to stress to you today is that even if your kids are interested in something that they would never teach about in a school, even if your kids are interested in something that you honestly couldn't even begin to think about how you would classify that, what subject you would classify it under, even if your kids are interested in something that you honestly believe has absolutely no academic appeal to it at all, I want you to remember this. Everything that your kids are interested in learning about has value to them. You might not see the value in it, they see the value in it, and that is what is important when it comes to interest-led learning, because your kids are onto something. There is learning to be found in everything, and I do mean everything. Take, for example, Pokemon. And this was actually a part of the question that I got on Instagram, because her son is really interested in Pokemon, and she said, would that be okay for him to learn about that, or should I try to steer him towards something that's, more schoolish? And here's the thing. You might not think of Pokemon as being like a school topic, but it doesn't have to be a school topic. That's what homeschooling is all about, is just embracing that flexibility and giving your kids the opportunity to learn about the things that they want to know about. And you might be wondering, okay, but how is Pokemon ever going to help my child in everyday life? Here's the thing. When you allow your kids to explore the topics that they want to know about, no matter what they are, you are giving them encouragement. You are giving them a sense of empowerment, and you are letting them know that you have confidence in the things that they choose. Not only that, if you give your kids the choice of what it is that they want to learn about, and this actually had to do with a question about interest-led notebooking, but this can really go with anything that has to do with interest-led learning at all. But say, for example, we'll go to interest-led notebooking, since that was what the question was actually about, yeah, you might not look at that topic as being something that would typically be learned in an educational setting, but that's okay, because you know what is behind that interest? There is passion behind that interest. There is curiosity behind that interest. There is drive behind that interest. And if you give your kids the opportunity, the time, and the tools that they need to explore something even like that, something that you might not ever think anything will come out of it, you are helping your kids in such a huge way. Because yeah, Pokemon, you might not ever see your child going into a career that has to do with that. But as they are copying those words down, especially if they are younger, as they are copying those words down, they're still, they're learning about writing, they're learning about spelling, they're still learning about punctuation. They are very often learning about math, because as I understand it, there is actually a game with Pokemon, and I would have no clue what it's all about, but I do know that it has to do with a game and there is math involved as well. And, especially for younger children, yeah, just the sheer act of writing about it is going to give them a huge academic chance, or that's not a good choice of words, but it's going to give them a really good chance at using what they love to be able to progress their knowledge further. And you might be thinking, okay, but what about, my teenager? What if they are learning about something that I don't really think is going to be useful? Well, here's the thing. Still let them do it. Because again, remember I said there's learning to be found in everything? You would be surprised at the things that can come out of the most, what would seem to be silly topic, the learning that can come out of it. Because I want you to remember that one topic has branches to so many different areas. So while you might not be able to see the value in something if you're looking straight at that one topic, you don't know what it is that they're going to encounter as they explore it, as they research it, as they learn more and more about it. And again, I'm going to go back to that encouragement. If you are giving even your teenagers the chance to learn about things that they love, even if you aren't really too sure about it, that encouragement is helping them more than you know. That encouragement is not only giving them the self-confidence that they will need to be able to pursue other things, but I want you to remember that if you give them this opportunity, that means that later on down the line, when they're interested in something else, they're not going to hold themselves back. They're going to dive right into it because they have already had the experience of being able to just immerse themselves in something that they love. And I just want to use a really quick example from my own family. When my 17-year-old daughter was in middle school, she was obsessed with makeup. And I remember this was actually when we were unschooling. And I remember that even though we were unschooling, it was during that time that I was really, really struggling. I was still at that point trying to fit everything into neat little subject boxes. So when she really became obsessed with makeup, I was just thinking, what am I going to do about this? But see, that's the thing. That interest that she had in makeup, it wasn't just about beautifying herself. No, that turned into her making her own makeup products. That turned into her making her own tutorials. That turned into her experimenting with character makeup on her siblings. So something that I looked at and thought to myself, oh my gosh, what are we going to do with this? She turned it around herself. And it is amazing, because yeah, you might not think that makeup itself is something that's going to be useful, but you can bet that when she was making her own all natural makeup, she was using math for that. She was using science. She was using her research skills to find out how to do it properly. And this is how you need to look at interest-led learning. It's not about what the topic is. It's about the fact that your kids have a passion about something and they're going to learn the best if they're allowed to just pursue that. And all you need to do as the parent is just to support them. Anyway, that's all that I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet and would like to hear more of what I have to say, I would love if you would do that. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave one over on Instagram because YouTube disabled my comments. I will leave that link in the description box as well. And if you like what I do, you can check out my Patreon page and see what rewards I have for my patrons there. And I hope you have a great day.